It's Friday morning, so it must be time to visit with Justin and see how life is going in the construction industry. Young man, how are you today?
Uh, there's no lying here. I'm getting a bit worn out. it's the Friday. These Fridays are great in one way because it's I know it's over for maybe a day or so, but not this week though. I mean, this week we still have Saturday booked, but yeah, this time of year. I was saying to you off camera, this time of year it starts to close in on you a little bit because there's more available daylight. We're all working, you know, 8 to 14 to in my case I'm 24 hours a day, and yes, this is when it starts to come in, and it's I was having a talked with the guys the other day. We were having one of our meetings on Monday, and I'm just like, like the thing that sucks about summer, and summer is amazing. The thing that sucks about it even more in Canada is we have this window to work in, and we in construction we like up here in the north, even in the northern U.S. Like we developed this thing where we gotta go stupid long, stupid hours for these 6 months because the building time is cut down to a quarter
Yeah.
in the winter, and then you go further up north. It's worse, but um, and not just me, but I find that like everybody in this industry is just toast by middle of August, and and a lot of the times we have huge falls still in front of us before Christmas because then we have the Christmas push. So I feel it every year. Every year you try to fix it, and it's tough because I mean the good economy, bad economy. If you're a good company, the demand in the summertime is it's always there, and it's always now kind of thing. So I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, yeah, it gets a little tiring come August.
I was surprised because I thought, with the interest rates going up, and I'm glad you brought that up. The housing market is still going crazy. Like
Yeah,
I was looked at some stats. It dropped to its lowest point in January. Then it
right.
started climbing again. Like it's
Yeah,
been going. Like I don't know how you guys can keep up. The demand is definitely there, but you want to do quality. I know you guys. You want to do quality work, and you're
right.
trying to get things done on time. And it's a constant, isn't it? It just never ends these days, does it?
No, it's funny. It's like I'm still waiting on all this stuff that everybody's talking about where we're going to downturn because I mean I have heard of other smaller companies that maybe had some slow periods, but I honestly I can't say for 1 minute that we've had anything slow. And I mean I'm still we're still a little bit behind. We're supposed to be on some stuff. We're supposed to start some stuff about 2 weeks ago that we have not yet. So we're a little bit off, but I mean, I'm absolutely almost wall to wall booked with Elevation Homes, almost till mid-November, almost approaching Christmas. There's a few holes in there for
Yeah.
smaller stuff, but the big stuff is definitely filled those gaps already. So I mean, we haven't seen any of that yet in the housing, in the real estate. Things have started to uh, you know move at a decent pace, and what's interesting is just in the past 2 weeks I've seen a lot of action over $1 million. Like some of the stuff that we have that is more expensive that people shied away from in the spring. Somehow they have the money now, and
Well, yeah. And what does that? But you went off the. Was it maybe that rush because they knew the rates were going up again? Because
it
we
could
kind of
be.
knew about this 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
It could be. I mean, I was, again, another conversation is that, like, I have seen a little bit of migration again. I've seen some people coming out here to Brantford, Norfolk, and I've seen that stuff coming from Toronto and Hamilton again, like we did a few years back. Not on that scale, but people are once again, they don't want, they maybe are the rate hikes stable? Are they going to go up in the fall? So they're kind of thinking, all right, well, you know, let's see if we can do a move before school starts and sell our house in Toronto for $1 million and get something that is 6 times the size in out this way, out west. Even as far as London, things have picked up as far as that goes. But they're parallel moves in most cases. But what they're getting is 20 or 30 times what they had in the city, right?
Are you? I know this is a dumb question, but when are you going out and quoting stuff? Are you going out after work? Like, I don't see how you can even find the time to do that.
Yeah, I try to organize it these days around where we're actually working. So if we're working near somewhere, then what I'll do is I'll try to buzz out on lunch. I've annoyed a lot of people with 7:30 appointments, I can tell you that. And I've also annoyed a lot of people with 9 o'clock appointments.
Is that AM or PM? Because we're up at 6 doing our show, so I
Yeah,
don't know what they're
yeah, yeah.
complaining about.
No, yeah, but like so this week I did 3 appointments at 7:30 a.m. so that I could still
Get to work
grab
on time.
materials and still, like, a lot of my guys don't start till 9 for all different reasons. Because three of the finishers, they generally on a 9 a.m. schedule start because they're in somebody's house, and during the school season we don't go there while everybody's getting ready, right?
No, it just makes
So
sense.
yeah, so we just kind of set those finisher guys at 9. I mean, the rough guys and whatnot. I mean, or if we're doing fences or decks, I mean, like I said, we're outside the house. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're getting there at 7:30. But
So I got to ask a quick question because this is where we've been trying to go this way for a few weeks, but I think it's more your pro builder company related. You and I were talking about old stone houses off air, and when I drive by them, you're always they mystify me. I want to go inside. I want to look around, right? Because I think they're really cool. You
oh
have those little wooden staircases, and you always think, oh, I could pick it up pretty cheap. I bet. It needs a lot of work, but this is where you come into play because Pro Builder, and I want you to talk about what you do at Pro Builder. Like, a guy like me doesn't know enough. Needs
yeah.
somebody like you, and Pro Builder does that type of work. They'll come in and inspect, make sure, tell you, okay, you need to do this, 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 this. Like, are these investments worth it? Let's start right there.
Well, I mean, the Century Stone stuff, again, the aesthetic and the allure of these places, for if you're into that kind of stuff, and again, I'm a big architecture guy. That's half the reason why I do this is I'm not actually, I never started as a builder. I started as an artist, and I became interested in the art of houses and the art of buildings. And because I'm physical and work with my hands, that led to the building of the houses, right? So I mean, the architecture of this stuff to me that's what drives me to go work on them, because it ain't fun working on them. Like, you gotta, again, it's one of those passion things that in any industry, in anything you do, I mean, the drive to do it has got to be there. If you're just walking into a dungeon of a house, for 99% of the people, I mean, they have zero passion to go into that dungeon, right? Whereas the things that and the things that are so nostalgic about these things is that if you stop and, like, on a construction site, you stop and you think about the hands and the mortar that was mixed, and the hand sawing and the hand nailing, and you try to, like, I don't know what it is with me, like, I try to picture the conversations that were had when, because I know what we do right now in modern day building, and I tried to picture the conversations that were had when these stone buggers were going up, and it like, I can't even, it boggles my mind to even think about how they did this.
Yeah.
And they did it at a decent speed, even in late 1800s, early 1900s. So, anyways, I mean, they're amazing places. Norfolk and Brant are full of them.
Yep.
When they're restored, they are absolute showstoppers. But what you got to keep in mind from a perspective of pro builder inspection, or somebody that's coming in to assess this for you to buy, is that like these are, they do have their nuances. I mean, a lot of them, a lot of them, because of the stone can work in a bunch of different ways. The stone can help and clad and absorb heat, and they also absorb water and hold water, and
Crack.
types and crack and bugs and like all these types of things, because it's not a perfect science of an exterior,
No.
right? It's not generally sealed like a siding house or a wood house or a stucco house, or I mean, like, we can seal those up pretty good. um, but these things, they're kind of open, and in some ways they need to be open, because if they don't breathe, then they will never dry out. um,
Ah.
so when they do get wet, so when the stone, and it's generally granite, so it doesn't absorb too much, but when the stone absorbs water, I mean, it's got to have a way out as
Yeah.
well. So I mean, at Pro Builder inspection, what we do, like, I mean, it's basically an inspection company that would come in, and we're not, shouldn't say it, we're not, I guess, your typical, um, home inspection type thing. We're not really inspecting for safety, and I mean, we are, but we're not inspecting for the typical home inspection list. We're inspecting to see if, you know renovations can be done. Is this a good buy for the money, kind of thing? Am I getting in over my head? I mean, we're inspecting so that you guys can work with the house, and not just to make sure that it's safe, and all the typical lists, right?
You're more consumer orientated. You want to see the value for that person reach its potential, but you have to understand what the faults are in the home first.
Right.
So when I, if you're, and it's what you said there was a couple things, like an old home like that, you're basically you're doing a huge renovation. I mean, you got, like you said, the stone, the wiring, there's the plumbing, there's so many secondary issues. And with you guys walking through and just looking at the scenarios that this person could be facing if they purchase this home, it gives a better oversight to what's going to need to be spent or done to make this home up to your par, up to what you want.
Right.
But like you said, when it's done, the value skyrockets on these things, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, no, and that's exactly it. So it's more of a it's more in this case, in buying an old stone house, it's more about a renovation inspection without that sort of obligation to hire a contractor to get to that point, because you may or may not even want this house after
Yeah,
after we
exactly.
tell you, after we tell you what is wrong, right? And the nice thing about it is you pay a flat rate fee on that, and we give you more of a reno quote, or an informational quote, on the structure, on all the different things that would go into, should I buy this house, or should I even renovate the house that I currently own, because I currently own a stone house, right?
Yeah.
And and we can estimate the finished equity, and how far this is going to get you, and whether or not it's worth it, right? Whereas a typical home inspection is just like, yeah, okay, the plugs work and the lights work and the furnace works, and I mean, that's great. Like, we got that part. The safe and sound part is one aspect of it, but we tell you whether or not that work can be done viably and affordably, because the older the house gets, the higher that risk factor of running out of money on them, basically, because I mean, they're full of worms. They're full of worms. And I've done, I don't know, I think I've done pre 1900. I think I've done 14.
And they offer you a ton of challenges, like you said, but probably being, I know you, like you talked about earlier, in your 20 some odd years experience, being able to go into something like that and do the project's got to be so fulfilling from the elevation side of you, getting that opportunity. But the pro builder, you're being downright honest and saying, look, this is what it's going to cost you if this
Yeah.
is a big investment. And I
Yeah.
think on even a modern home, when you go in and you say, no, you can't move that wall, that's what people need to hear. Like, they need that
Right.
instruction and information, because average guy like me doesn't have a clue, right? I'm just going to move
Yeah.
this wall, right? And
Yeah.
next thing you
And
know,
yeah, no, that's exactly, and you can't fool around with these ones. I mean, it's again, if you're doing an old stone house, or you're doing an old farmhouse or whatever. I mean, people are doing it for the nostalgia, and that this is what they want, right? I mean, we're doing another one right now, and it's an old brick home, but I mean, where this guy is on his budget is literally 3 times the price of a new build. But this is what he wanted. I mean, he wanted to live in something that has, gone through centuries, and that's something you just got to know. And if that's, unfortunately, it takes kind of deep pockets in some of these things to get them to the point. But man, they are the most incredible houses, on the planet if you do them right and they're restored. And I mean, you can live in history, which is amazing, right? You'll have basically a story for every piece of trim and every corner in that house. And it's weird how you buy one of these places, and we've done many all over Ontario and even in the U.S. Is how all the somehow all the stories seem to come out of the walls eventually, whether it's in newspapers, whether it's in the 80-year-old neighbor down the road, or whatever, or you actually find. I mean, we found these time capsules before. We find these things that people stick in the walls before they leave, and
cool.
some pretty incredible stuff. I mean, just even the antique market stuff. Like I donate a lot of stuff to Waterford Antique Market, because we pull it out left, right, and center, in windows and transoms and stained glass, and I just dropped off a load down there of Tiffany lamps, like not real Tiffany lamps, believe me, I've been keeping them, but no, replica Tiffany lamps, and we get a few bucks for them. But if a designer's looking for a Tiffany lamp for under $100, then these things are, I mean, they're perfect. But that's what I mean, is that and a lot of times someone will integrate some of that stuff back into the builds. But if you want to live in history, you got to be ready for it when it comes to these renos, right?
Thanks for doing this today. I know Pro Builder is busy. I know Elevation Homes is busy. Take care. Have a great week, and look forward to talking to you real soon. Okay, bud?
Thank you, sir.